completed 24 of 30 passes without an INT, including 2 TDs to stud receiver Mike Evans. Dan, is Baker a top-tier NFC quarterback?
Of course he has. Every time Baker's been healthy, he's been top tier. I've said this, the last 2 seasons that Baker Mayfield has been fully healthy, which is, I think, in a starter. So 2020 and then 2023, and obviously right now, he's thrown for like 55 touchdowns, 20 picks. He's led both teams to the playoffs. Remember, he was really good in Cleveland that 1 year, and then the first game of the year, I think in 21, he came out against Kansas City and injured his shoulder, played most of the season hurt, played okay, not great, but played that season hurt. Then Cleveland moved on from him, bounced from Carolina, then to LA or whatnot. Finally last year, Pro Bowl type of year. Yeah, he absolutely is. He's in that group where as long as people that are around him good, he's going to play at a very high level.
You do.
Yeah. So, listen, I think there's a few things that I really want to talk about with Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, right? I think we have to tap the brakes in terms of what we draw from this game against the Commanders, right? I mean, they did not look good. They were one of the worst teams last year, okay? That's why they drafted number 2. They have a rookie quarterback. You're on the road, new coach, new coordinator, new everything. We gotta tap the brakes here a little bit. Baker Mayfield definitely looked great, and the Bucs definitely looked great. The thing that impressed me more than anything with Baker Mayfield was his escapability, right? The way how he escaped was awesome. But he was also throwing to wide open guys. He had a couple great throws as well, but he was throwing to wide open guys. Wide open, which is going to be interesting because we're going to find out. This is why you got to wait a few weeks to really figure out who each team is. Is it either the Commanders' defense is not good at all, like it wasn't last year, or is it the fact that the coordinator for the Bucs was just able to scheme these guys wide open and had just a great game plan? To me, that's what I'm going to be looking out for more than anything. But yeah, he really did have guys wide open all game. He evaded the pressure very well. But he hit his guys when he was asked to throw the ball. He hit his guys, and that's something that Baker Mayfield has always done well. Baker Mayfield's not going to miss the opportunities that are given to him, which is why I've always said, listen, I'm not super high on Baker, but I've also said he's not a trash quarterback, right? I just don't think he is a top tier quarterback in the NFL, but I think he is a really good quarterback. But again, you have to be able to if you want to be a top tier quarterback in the NFL, you have to be able to do consistently great things, and that is just not what I personally have seen from Baker Mayfield. And if we want to point out this game as an indicator of that, I just don't know how we possibly could do that. And I think the way how you got to look at it as well is that I'm looking at what can the Bucs do to make the playoffs. Their best chance to me is to win the division. The Falcons lost, obviously, and I think the Falcons will lose to the Eagles as well, so that means they should drop down 0-2. And the Panthers are obviously the Panthers, and so then you're kind of going up against the Saints. And again, I don't know what the Saints will look like. They obviously blew the doors off the Panthers, and you can't. And I know a lot of Buccaneers fans are not high on the Saints. They don't think that the Saints are a very good team. And I'll say, but look, the Saints dominated against the Panthers. And if you now come and say, well, the Panthers are a terrible team, look how bad they are. Well, then you have to say the same thing about the Commanders, because the Commanders did not show you that they're a good team at all. They were really bad. They were nearly as bad as the Panthers were last season. So winning this game, that if you're not going to give the Saints their credit, well, then you can't give the Buccaneers their credit for winning either. So you can't have it both ways. So to me, it's going to be very interesting. I do think the Falcons will be able to right the ship as well. So I do think it's going to be an interesting battle for the division. But there's just a lot of competitive teams this season. Seattle Seahawks are looking like they're going to be more competitive. You're going to have the Rams. They looked great. It was a hard-fought loss against the Lions. The Lions are a top team in the NFL as well, without a doubt. A lot of people have them poised to make it to the Super Bowl. So that was a hard-fought loss, and the Rams still looked great in it. That's a tough first game as well. The 49ers are going to be a great team. The Eagles, the Cowboys, there's just a lot of teams. And so can the Buccaneers fight for a wild card if they don't win the division? I think the Bucs, really the only chance they have is to win the division. If not, I just think that there's too many good teams where they're just not going to be able to get, to get through the wild card. But there's a big benefit because, like I said, the Falcons lost, the Bears lost. They won. I'm sorry, but they did not look great. So it's like, are they able to right their ship? There's just a few teams that maybe a lot of people had them poised to either be good or bad, and it's kind of like, where's it going to drop for them? And I know this is going to anger a lot of Buccaneers fans. I just think we can't jump to such strong conclusions based off of a week 1 game at home against the Washington Commanders against a rookie quarterback. You just can't. And like I said, if you want to then say that's nonsense, look how dominant they were. Well, then look what the Saints did against the Panthers. You have to then give them flowers. Then you have to say, well, it's going to be a tough road ahead. Then it's going to be a tough fight for the division. So yeah, I'm really fascinated to see how this all unfolds. But like I said, the Bucs obviously looked very, very good. They took care of business. I think the Bucs will definitely be a team that will consistently be able to beat on the lower level teams. To me, I really need to see them go up against the good and great teams to see what they look like against a team that has an offensive identity and a defensive identity. What do they look like on the road? What does Baker Mayfield look like when they actually are getting to him in the pocket? And he takes a few sacks, but because again, he was unbelievable evading the pressure. To me, that was absolutely the biggest thing that stood out to me. It was his ability to evade the pressure, which I thought was just wildly impressive. So I am really curious to see how the Bucs unfold this season and kind of what their DNA looks like at the end of the day, right? How competitive are they? How aggressive can Baker be in tighter games? Because again, when you're going up against a rookie quarterback and you're up 37-20, it's a lot easier to kind of be aggressive to take shots down the field. I really want to see what is it like when they're going. To me, the biggest test for them, the earliest test, will probably be against the Eagles. Because the Eagles, to me, are a top team in the NFL. That defense looked significantly better than they were last year, and same thing with that offense. So, because also, since the Commanders have this rookie quarterback, I don't know what the defense looks like for the Bucs. I'm just not going to be able to have strong takeaways for the defense for the Buccaneers based off of the offense that the Commanders were able to do, right? Jaden Daniels is too specific type of a quarterback, and that offense is definitely lacking some weapons. And again, it's a rookie quarterback. We know rookie quarterbacks only fare so well, right? So I'm just curious to see what this defense looks like moving forward against more mature, seasoned veteran quarterbacks. So I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for the Bucs, and I really am excited for the Eagles-Bucs game because to me, that'll be a great indicator who they are. If they play the Eagles competitively but still lose, that means a lot to me. If they beat the Eagles, that means a lot to me. But I think this is where we start to evaluate who the Bucs are moving forward from this point on. I just don't think this game is going to be a game that you can draw too strong of conclusions from. First game of a rookie quarterback, you're at home, week 1. You should win this game, and you should win this game convincingly, and credit to the Buccaneers for taking care of business because there's plenty of other teams that were in a position that should have been able to take care of business at home, and they were unable to, right? But again, also the Falcons, they went up against a ruthless defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a really hard week 1 matchup as well. That's a brutal defense. So I think the Bucs were definitely given this gift facing the Commanders week 1. And so to me, how do they look moving forward? But if you're a Buccaneers fan, you should definitely feel pretty confident, pretty comfortable, pretty happy. And you definitely have a big head start now of at the least, because again, I'm thinking big picture, not short term. Big picture is you already now have a good head start against the Falcons, who a lot of people had them winning the division which is good because, like I said, I think the Falcons will drop down 0-2, and at the minimum, if the Saints end up being this dark horse where they're a lot better than people believed, then stacking up wins now and getting the wins that you're supposed to get, like against the Commanders, goes a very long way against to try to win the wild card. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Bucs week 1 victory against the Commanders? Any big takeaways? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.